Hello, I am Kartoffel, and I'm going to show you a new tutorial because people do not understand cinematography when making their posters, and that is not a good thing. So, what is cinematography? Cinematography is the composition of literally every single thing in your poster. It's the position of the characters, camera position, the lenses, the lights, the blacks and the whites and the that's not a racial term. Um, so yeah, that it's just every single thing in the scene that you have, and that's why in film the cinematographer is the second most important person in film behind the director because they literally are the reason where they tell where everyone is supposed to be positioned, what is supposed to be there, and just everything. So, with that in mind, I'm going to show you just the basics of cinematography. It doesn't need, you can expand upon this and you can learn so much more. But this is just the basics on and what you need to know so that you have a good poster. So, let's start with camera positioning. So important with your poster, and it's already done with my poster. I actually in the original poster I actually like it was pitched a bit diagonally, and I'll show you that again right here in the work camera. Just pitch it a little bit. Now, what this is trying to tell you, the pyro is the dominant person. That's why he is tall. Not only is he taller than the scout in this image, but it's pitched in his direction. He's the one looking down upon scout. It's going in a diagonal line. If I can just do a little screen drawing, it's just going like this. Wait, no, that's not right at all. Sorry, it's going like this. That's what you want in this case of the poster. The pyro is mugging the scout, so therefore he should be in the dominant view. That's why it's going in a diagonal, because we're pretty much just seeing that he is dominant, and it's the little things that like that can just give it a little flair, maybe a little I don't know, just it just helps. It's the little things that really make your poster amazing, and that's why you need to know what those little things are and your little own little flair and how to make it better. So with now you have camera positioning. Now you also need to know focal distance and aperture. Now what is that? That is your focus. That is what is being focused upon. That is what I'm just gonna screw this up a little bit so you can see why. Going into F2, you see they're not in focus. They're blurry and it's crappy looking. That's because they're not in focus. So you need to, when doing your poster, you need to have things in focus. So you have a distinction between your positive, what was the word? Your positive space and your negative space. Positive space is the stuff that's in focus. It's what you're focusing on. Negative space, that's your background. You need to have a distinction between that so that your audience, your viewer, just in the poster can know what's important in this poster. So we need to have both of these characters in focus because they are the most important people. So where you're focusing in Source Filmmaker, it's where that line between the purple and your regular view, that's what's being focused on the most, and anything in range will be focused out more and more depending on your aperture setting. So we want the pyro and the scout both in focus. So back here is good, and then your aperture setting is how much focus there is. If I have it set to 0, there's absolutely no focus going on, as you can see. So raising the aperture, actually you can barely see that. That's a bit better, but you can see the shift between the in the background. As you can see, the space between the scale. They're actually much farther. They're actually pretty close to the wall. That's why you're not seeing much detail and focus. But you get what I mean. Okay, yeah, you can see this. You can see the switch, the shift around the bag. You can see how it's shifting as I modify the work camera because that's how source filmmaker works. Don't complain about it. Okay, so now you have camera and all that stuff. Now let's talk about your AO settings. What is AO? It is your ambient occlusion. It's just what handles all those black shadows, and it gives it a more contrast and a more pop to your poster. Right now I have it turned off because AO takes a lot out of your GPU, so I'm only gonna have it on for this short portion. So I'll just go into render settings and turn it on. As you can already see, there's a big shift, as you can see. Now I'm gonna go into show ambient occlusion mode, so you can actually see what's going on. The white is basically anything that's not being affected. The black is the area that is being affected. Personally, I like having sharp shadows. It's just the sharp blacks. Again, that's not a real term. It's a cinematography term. So, um, yeah. So you want your, especially right now, you could see it. You want you want them to be defined, so you can see like that really nice. Um, just have an outline of the character. So like even in this, you know what you're looking at. But when I go into camera, I can see that they're much sharper because the settings. I've shifted the settings. So I'm just gonna go back to regular view and we'll go over this. So right now it's what it's supposed to look like in work camera. I'm gonna do some shifting. First, I'm gonna move the SSAO bias. As you can see, as you raise it, there's less shadows and like the darker stuff is kind of closing. It's sucking in all whatever black there is left. I'm gonna have it about here just because I want it to bleed out a little bit. And then the SSAO strength, that's what's gonna cause all this more stuff just be brought in. I like it just a little bit, and then radius. That's really it's just more of an effect. I'll have it about here because it looks nice, really. So as you can see, once I go back into here, you could see how better it looks. As you can see in the work camera, it looks a lot different. Just because of the difference in the settings. So if I'll go into here, you can just see how different they are. Now, quick note: if you're seeing black dots in your poster, such as a really early poster I've made, let's find those. Um, this is a good one. You can see these black dots. You see, it's kind of weird, especially around his neck. This is a really early poster I made about 2 years ago. It's really poor, but you get the point. It's a learning process with Source Filmmaker, so even I was shitty at first. Everyone improves eventually. So, what the point is I'm trying to make, well, the other point I'm trying to make, it's important to turn your depth of field up. I personally like it at 128. That's raising your depth of field samples. If you raising it even a little bit can take away those dark marks. However, I like it at 128 because that's what smooths it out a lot more. Now it will increase your render time only by like maybe 30 seconds or a minute depending on how high it is, but it's really important. Motion blur, you really don't need to do anything with that. At least I don't see a difference too much. Sub pixel jitter, I don't even know what the fuck that does. Excuse my language, but I don't even know what it's doing. As you can see, it's not. I don't even know what it's doing. But I'm just gonna leave it on because why not? It ain't hurting. So I haven't researched what it does. So now let's talk about lights. Lights, I already have 3 lights on. As you can see, once I turn them on, it looks a bit better. Everything looks a bit better, but we're going to turn them off and make new ones, and I can show you how I went through the process of making these lights. So I'm gonna move all these lights away from my lights pocket. Actually, I'm just gonna hide them. So let's start with our first light. Okay, drag it into my viewport so I can adjust it like a camera. Now there are 3 types of lights. There's your key light, your fill light, and your key light, fill light, and your damn it, I have to show you what I was looking at before. There's your key light, your backlight, and your fill light. Those are your 3 important lights. It's just the basics. It's not anything too important. Now, of course, you'll see me. Everyone has to reference this stuff. It's important that you look at other stuff. So it's just good. It's just good learning material. So of course this is extremely bright. I'm making a key light right here. Your key light is basically the light that's your main light. That's why it's the key light, because keys are important. Don't ask me why the terminology is like this. Just go with it. So your key light is basically lighting your whole scene, at least for the basics. Now this will also be one making your shadows. I like the shadows like this. It just shows a little. It makes it a little, I guess, dark in a sort of way. I watch a lot of movies, so I like I guess I like people you copy, not copy, but you take from other movies and put it to your own, so that it looks cool. People can compare and look at it. There's a lot of shit I'll ramble on about because I don't know what I'm talking about. Excuse me, I have a cough. Yeah, so that's your key light. It's gonna be making most of your lights in your shadows. So I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit, and I'm not gonna really mess with anything else. Actually, I'll put some color now, just so you know. In Source Filmmaker, with lights, the colorization is a bit weird. If I raise the color green, I get red. Well, it's more of a purple. I had to raise the blue to make it actually red. I don't know why it's like that. They just decided that if the color you don't drag is the color you're gonna get. Don't ask me why. I don't get it, but whatever. So, yeah, just having them all set to 0 gives you a white. But I'm gonna make it a little bit red. Because the surroundings, as you can see, are a bit red as the lights. So I want to copy the lights so that it fits in. Now we're gonna make our fill light. What's your fill light? Your fill light is basically a light that's the opposite of your key light. It's basically what's making where you have your first light, where I'll have to draw because I can't point at it. See right here, this is where the key light is. That's the key light that is basically just that's where the key light is in effect, right here and there. So if I can take that off, yeah, your key light. It's what your fill light is going to be in the areas where your key light is not. So, especially in this tight corner, it's actually a little bit hard. I can't really give you too many examples, but I'll do my best. I'm actually going to improve this poster because improvement is good. So, as you can see, that's where and that looks cool. You know, it does look cool. Wait, I did something wrong there. I see what I did wrong. Okay. I was adjusting the wrong light. So light 5, that's my new light that I made, and I'm gonna adjust it so that it's putting a light on the other side of the character's face. It's a little bit weird in this position because of how how the character's position in contrast to the wall. But I'm doing my best just to improve upon my lighting and just show a good example for everyone else. So as you can see, it's already made a good. I don't know. I like it. It looks nicer. Yada yada yada. I'm gonna make stupid mistakes. Now let's focus on the scout. Again, he's in a weird position, so I have to have the light in a very awkward position, so that da 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 da. Make the light a bit smaller. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I'm gonna sing a song because I'm stupid. Da 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 da. Oh my God, this is so awkward. The light's in his belly. Turn the light all the way down because holy crap. So I'll just give it a little fill, as the name is called. Yeah, so you feel like. Now I'm gonna have your backlight. The backlight is basically the light that's giving to the back of the person. In terms of this, it's going to be the side of the pyro because it's a weirdly positioned poster, but so it's just gonna be on the back of him. As you can see, it's already creating these. I have to draw again. Nope. It's creating this. As you can see, the white line. Actually, I shouldn't be using red because the pyro's red. So I'm going to use green. As you can see, it's already creating like a little lightness around him, around his back. That's what you want. You can raise it a little bit just so you get more highlights. It's not actually going to affect the lighting on his other side. It's just for aesthetics. You don't have to have a backlight. I like the style. I watch a lot of movies. I take from them, and I use that as an example. I'm gonna have a lot more lights than I had originally because I'm showing all how each light can make an effect on your poster. Again, you want it on the back side. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-dum. Want a bit more on his back. And that should do it. So it's obviously it's not like the poster I made before, which I'll show you. It's obviously not like it at all. Actually, I'm improving upon it. In my opinion, this is a good improvement. Now, there's more lights you can add for your own little flair. As I made a volumetric light on going on the back of the pyro, his actual back, not his back side. That's not being viewed. So, making a volumetric light. This is another great example. It's basically making this cone. I'll have to go in. As you can see, it's making this cone of light, and you can see the light. It's actually giving this misty look. So the main point of it is just it looks cool. If you ever seen Citizen Kane where they're in they're watching the film, that's pretty much what you can reference it. That's exactly what it is. It's just that light through the smokiness. It looks good for spotlights and all that other stuff. So just do with it as you want. It doesn't even. And also, now you get to use two settings that actually don't do anything unless you're using a volumetric light. It's volumetric intensity and noise strength. The noise strength only will turn up that mist. It'll only make it more apparent. Don't ask me why turning it down puts it more. I don't know. And for volumetric intensity, turn it up. Of course, will bring up that smoke again, but it also will make the root of the light. This is the root. I have to draw again. This is the root of the light. That's where it's coming. That's where all that light is coming from. So it's just making that root lighter. So I'm just gonna turn it all the way down because that is ugly. And we make the lights. It's barely gonna do anything in this poster, but I'm just using it as an example. And this is it. That is your poster. Actually, I'm gonna turn it off. That looks too bright. Or maybe we could fix that in post-processing. Because I'm going to go into post-processing and show you more. Because this is not it. This is just what, to the extent you can do in Source Filmmaker. So let's render. Go ahead and export poster, save. Poster tutorial, because this is a new one. I don't want to get rid of my old one, of course. So let's wait for this to, while we do that, actually I'm going to turn on, oh look, oh wait, actually, I have to go look it in here. There we go. While I do that, I'm going to eat some pizza I have on my desk. And it's cold now. So we got Photoshop open. Let's wait for the poster to finish rendering. Right, 4 tiles rendered. I personally don't render them into JPEGs because of JPEG compression. I like when I'm done, that's the first compression. Putting them in TGA, that's at least the most original you could get it. That's why it's a Targa, a TGA. Excuse me. Oh my god, now I'm all nasally. So now when you open it, it'll go into Photoshop and that's your poster right there. That's the exact look of it. So let's talk about what you're going to do in post-processing. Now, I personally, this is kind of an extension off my first poster. Excuse me. This is just an extension. I'm just going to do what I do because that's what I like. I personally just turn up the contrast. As you can see, it already adds a lot of flair to your poster. Also make it turn down. As you can see, it's already making a big difference from the original and the modified version. Oop daisies. Yeah, you can really see a huge difference. If you want to work on levels, that's cool. Just adjust it up, can bring out your lights or your darks. It's just a thing. If you want to do it. Now, personally, I use Photoshop because I have so much. I have so much to work with, and I have a lot of tools I could use. You don't have to use Photoshop. You could use GIMP. You could use Paint.net. There are other free versions of Photoshop. Oh my god, my voice is getting nasally because of my sickness. You have a lot. I have a lot to work with, but you don't have to use all those tools that are used in Photoshop. All these tools, such as just adjusting the brightness and the contrast, can easily be done in both GIMP and Paint.net in a way that is almost exactly like Photoshop. Now I'm gonna go to Vibrance. Personally, I like to do this. That is so cool. I just love that effect. It makes the background so dark, but then because of the saturation, it turns up all those colors that, like the blue and the red, it really brings them out, and I love that. But you don't have to do that because that's just how my style. It's kind of like a Sin City style, except there's color, in a way. If you ever watch Sin City, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just gonna mess around with it a bit. I like that. As you can see, it's already a huge difference from this and this. It's a huge difference. My voice is going really nasally. The color balance, if you want to do it, you can do it. It's a little bit too much, so I'm going to bring that down. And that's it. There's a lot more you can do with Photoshop that I don't know how to do, but that's really my whole process, especially with in terms of going into more depth in cinematography. It's both the production of the poster as well as the post processing that I do. And as you can see, I've already made huge improvements in making this poster better. And this, I think this looks a whole lot cooler. Don't you agree? This looks a whole lot cooler. You got so much more flair to it. It just looks a whole lot better. There's more light. It's just more pop. I get excited when I improve on myself. Excuse me. So that's really it. That's my whole tutorial. Um, if you, I'll probably won't be making one more in a while, but hey, if you want to do it, subscribe, like it. Um, Share it to friends who are wanting to do more in Source Filmmaker. This stuff really helps a lot, just working with the program and practicing. Get the know-how. I'm just sharing all the knowledge I've gained from using Source Filmmaker over the years and just doing it. I don't know. Oh well. Alright, bye.